Hello all, and welcome to another episode of Chosen for Greatness. I'm your host, Sarah B, and today we have an amazing woman of God that's going to bless us with her journey to greatness and, of course, being clothed for greatness. So please give it up for Miss Nicole Nkele. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. I'm very glad that you are here today.
Glad to be here.
And then the fact that we're matching today, that's
Absolutely.
a vibe.
Great minds think alike.
Yes, ma'am. I love it. Well, thank you so much again for doing the invitation for Chosen for Greatness.
Glad to be here.
Truly a privilege. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with question number one.
All right.
So how did you receive the call of God over your life?
So I never had the loud voice, I'm calling you, I'm chosen you. I didn't get a dream or anything like that. So I say I'm born in church. I grew up and I was alive and my parents were in church. My dad is huge with music. He loves music, even though he can't sing or play an instrument. He just really likes music. And so he, every year, whenever there was a new Christian album, Ron Canoli, Hillsong, like back in the 90s, he would buy it and he would play it for us and we would listen to it and he would make us learn the words. We would just be singing, my siblings and I would be singing, like we would know from the first ad lib to the end, we would just be singing. So that's kind of how I got introduced to music. My dad is a huge music lover. And then just growing up, I would just sing here and there. But when I was in fourth grade, my school did they wanted to do a choir, like end of year concert thing. So the whole class was standing kind of in front of the music teacher and she told us to sing a song. And then she would walk around and was listening to who was in key. That's how she chose who was going to be in the choir. She just would put her ear to you and be like, okay, you go over here, you go over here. And then she was like, people on this side are going to be in the choir for the end of the year concert. And that's kind of how I got introduced to music. I just started singing just for fun, like in school, things like that. And then when I was around probably 14 years old, I had an uncle of mine who was a youth pastor, and he would force us to go to his youth ministry services on Saturdays. So he would come pick us up, and he would, literally make the rounds, pick everyone up, and he would bring us to his service. Well, one day we're in the car, and he's playing Nicole Nkele, When I Call on Jesus. He's just playing it. So everyone's singing. I'm singing my heart out, and I'm just singing, blah, 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 and I'm singing. After a while, everyone stopped singing, and I was the only one singing. So then I'm singing, and he literally stepped on the brake and was like, who was that? And I was just like, what are you doing? He's like, you sound really good, Nicole. And he was so excited. And he was like, you sound so good. And I was just like, okay, you crazy weirdo, And so he was like, you need to sing. Like, you have a great voice. And he really encouraged me.
Okay.
So then I started singing in church, and then I sang in school choirs just for fun, just doing it, just to do it. But around 16 years old, I went to church camp. Mm-hmm. And that's really when I felt like the Lord, spoke to me and called me. They gave the regular call for salvation like they typically do, because I've been in church all my life, so I've heard it.
Right.
And I've gone forward several times because I was afraid of going to hell.
Oh, wow.
So
I like that. Okay.
Let me just go give my life to Christ again, just in case he comes back tomorrow.
Right.
I don't go to hell. So this time it was different. I really felt something in my heart, like the Lord was like, you need to go up and commit yourself to me. And that it was really a still small voice. It was nothing crazy.
Yeah.
It was not loud. I just felt it on the inside of me.
Yeah.
And I went up and committed myself to Christ, gave my life to Christ, accepted that he was, the risen Savior. And I started serving God consciously, knowing that I'm doing this for God because he asked me to.
Wow.
But it wasn't it wasn't really anything crazy, just that still small voice. Mm-hmm. And that was all I needed. And I've been serving since 16 years old.
Wow.
So it's been a while, over 20 years.
Oh, wow.
I'll say that.
So on a typical Sunday, how do you prepare yourself to serve?
How do I prepare myself? So I am a very, very shy person. I don't like talking in front of people. I do not like standing in front of people. I am so nervous. So every time I have to lead, it's different when I'm singing background. When I'm singing background, I'm a little bit more relaxed. I'm still anxious, but when I'm leading, it's very, very, very scary for me. And I think the Lord has it that way, so I never feel like I don't need to go back at his feet. I'm constantly praying Lord, please help me. I don't want to mess up. I don't want to sing the wrong key. So all week long, I'm prepping, I'm praying. And then one thing I do is because I know I'm not comfortable in front of people, I pick songs that work for my voice. Okay. I listen to a lot of music and I choose things that make sense for me, and I choose my set list, it needs to speak to me. So I don't sing songs because they're popular.
Right.
I don't sing songs because I know that it's going to move the crowd. I sing songs that speak to me, that minister to me. That way I'm able to minister to the others.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I choose. And like I said, I make sure songs make sense for my voice. I've been singing long enough to where I know what works, what doesn't work. So
Right.
I prep that. And then once I make my set list, I sit on it. I'm not there's people that are like very, spare of the moment.
Right.
I'm not like that because I need to know that, this speaks to me, this works. If I'm ministering and something comes up, I'll flow with the Spirit. But most of the time I'm very prepared. Like I have a list, I write it down. It's in front of me when I'm singing because I'm always so nervous. So it keeps me really like at the feet of the Lord, always being like, hey, if you don't do this with me, it's just me and you.
Yeah.
So that's how I prepare. I make sure that like I dot my I's and cross my T's every single time.
Yes, ma'am. I love that. So what would you say the most difficult the most difficult thing for you is about having a ministry and serving God?
I think the most difficult thing for me, I've found because I've been doing it for so long, is doing it and pushing through even when you don't feel it. So many times I feel like people think serving God, being in front of people, you're always going to have that burning desire that you had when you initially started. Yeah. But every once in a while, things become routine and you start maybe getting burnout, especially if you serve a lot. It's every Sunday, every single Wednesday, every single. And you start not really feeling it like on the inside of you, and you don't have that drive and that push. And it's really knowing how to push past those feelings. A lot of people I feel like are serving God and they're always seeking for that like first love, burning fire, and it's not always gonna be there. And I feel like once you get to that point, sometimes it's because the Lord is calling you to a higher place, and that's why you feel like, okay, there's nothing here for me anymore. Like that fire really dies, and you have to like dig deeper and keep pushing to find out, okay, what is the next level the Lord has for me?
Yeah.
So it's knowing how to push through the the routine and the every single day. Okay, I've done this several times, and never feeling like you've arrived. So I think the challenge is really knowing how to push through when you don't feel like it. Some days I just want to stay in bed.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've struggled with that too. How do you push through? Like, what do you normally do to push through?
So number one thing for me is remembering my why. Like, why am I doing this, and to whom am I doing this for, and who am I doing this for?
Yeah. So
I think knowing that is the key. Like, if you know that I'm serving God, like the one who's giving me breath,
right?
Whether, does God feel like giving you breath every day? But he has to do it because that's what he said and that's what he's promised.
Yeah.
And I feel like because I made a vow to God, so I don't have to always feel like doing it. I do it because it's a commitment thing.
Yeah.
It's not a feeling thing. It's not a every once in a while thing. It's a commitment. So I push through with that. And then I have community. Like I know people will call me, where have you been?
Especially in our community. Yes.
So I think that's also another thing that helps me push through.
Okay. Yeah. I love that. I really do. So how do you balance being a wife, a mother, and a servant of God?
I don't. Just kidding. It's good sometimes, and sometimes it's chaotic. The number one thing for me, I say, is you have to have a village, have community, have people that can help you when you want to tap out and be like, you know what, I can't do it. Somebody help me. That's the number one thing. I have a village. I have my mom. I have my siblings. I can call them like, somebody come get these kids. I can't. So you have to have a village. But the key also to having a village is you also have to be a participant member of the village. Like, come on. You can't just expect the village to come through for you when you're never a good member of the village as well. So I try to come through for people that are in my life so that when I do need them, I know that they're there for me. So I think that's the missing component a lot of people don't pay attention to. So when I feel overwhelmed, I have crazy anxiety sometimes. I call on people. I know my husband's there to help me. I know my siblings are there. My mom is there. I have people to help me. If you don't have family around you, you can call on friends. Like, you have to build a community, even if it's just 2 or 3 people. It doesn't have to be 100. But I don't balance it all. I pull my resources and ask for help.
Yeah. No, I like that. A lot of people don't really necessarily like asking for help, but I like that you said that.
You have to sometimes.
Yeah. So how did you know your husband was the one for you?
This question is always funny to me.
Uh-huh.
Because like I said, the Lord does not speak to me through crazy signs.
Okay.
It's literally just the tiniest little voice.
Okay.
So when we first met, I didn't really, not that I didn't like him, but I just was like, I wasn't even thinking about it. Like, it wasn't even in my brain.
Yeah.
At all. Like, zero. Like, I was already, the fact that the day we, like, the circumstances of, like, how we met, I already didn't want to be there.
Oh, wow.
And so I just did not come to the situation with, like, the greatest attitude.
Yeah.
The church that I go to now, Mountain of Prayers, they were having a youth conference.
Okay.
And my sister was going there at the time. I just graduated from college, moved back. So I wasn't going there. I went to a different church. And they were having a youth conference. And she was like, oh, they're looking for somebody to help lead English songs. And I was like, great. Good for them. So she was like, I think you would be great. You should come. And I just was like, no, thanks. No, thanks.
Yeah.
And I said no, like, so many times.
Yeah.
And she kept, like, insisting. And then eventually she just let it go.
Okay.
So then she gave my number to this guy, though, that was, like, in charge of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And he called me and was like, hey, is this sister blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, yes. He's like, oh, we have, he explained the whole thing to me. And I was like, oh, thank you for reaching out. I'm not available.
Yeah.
Like, I told him I'm not available. And he was like, all right, whatever. And then one day, just for, I guess, kicks and giggles, I was like, all right, let me go and check it out.
Yeah.
Like, I just moved back. I didn't really have a lot going on. I was still looking for a job. So I went to the rehearsal and I really liked it. We start the rehearsal. Everything's going great.
Yeah.
The guy who called me, I knew him a little bit. So, we kind of had like a, he was an acquaintance. So we're rehearsing. We're doing good. Everything's fine. And then my husband walks in. He came late. He just came back from work. But as soon as he walked in, he was like in charge. No, don't do this. I don't like this. I was just like, who's this guy? Like, and so my sister and I literally looked at each other. We were like, okay, Kirk Franklin.
Oh my God.
And that was like his nickname for my sister and I. We were just like tweeting each other back and forth like, this guy.
Not Kirk.
And so, because he just came in, like, was very much like in charge, like changing things and moving things around. I just thought it was funny. So we were just going back and forth like, oh my God, this guy. All right. Whatever. And then at the end we said hello and then moved on.
Yeah.
And I, like, my brain wasn't there. My mind wasn't there. And then eventually, like, just during that time rehearsing for this event, we got to, talking and, he got to know me. I got to know him, kind of a thing. And then he was like, hey, I have a band, actually, if you're interested. Like, if you're looking for somewhere to sing, you should come join it. And I was like, no, thanks. Like, I was very much like, no.
Yeah.
And then weeks went by. We would see each other and we would talk and things like that. And then eventually I was like, okay, I'll come check it out, whatever. I went and checked it out and I loved the rehearsal, like the way that they were blending the voices. Everyone sounded so good. And I was like, this is great. You guys are actually good.
Yeah.
And then I joined the band and we were talking and became friends and everything. And then eventually, like, feelings started to come. And then I was like, okay, this guy's good. And I started observing him for like something more than just friendship. And then eventually when he kind of came to me and spoke to me like, hey, I think, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, all right, let's see where this will go.
Yeah.
And then eventually we saw that, like, our visions lined up. And I was looking for somebody who was, ambitious, very understanding, and somebody who could handle me because I have a big personality.
Yeah.
I'm not your typical Congolese girl who's going to just, lay flat like a mat. So
yes, ma'am.
I needed somebody who was going to be okay with that. So I was really pushing and testing and making sure that, like, my ambitions were not too big and where I saw myself was not going to be a threat to him. And once I felt that and, like, I understood that, that's when I was like, okay, this is something different. Because I also was like, I'm not going to marry a Congolese guy.
Let's talk about it.
Because I was like, this is not for me.
Wow.
To the point where, like, there's an uncle of mine, and my husband's really close to him. And so when we kind of started getting close and he needed advice on how, like, to approach me.
Right.
He went to him, he was like, yeah, I really like her, but I'm afraid to approach her. Like, she's not really showing me signs, like, if she's,
interested. Yeah.
And he didn't want to, like, cross that bridge because we already were singing in the same band at the time.
Right.
So he felt like if he crossed that line and then it was going to be so awkward.
Yeah.
Right. And he was like, she's probably going to leave. Ooh. So I don't want to say anything.
Yeah.
So then he went to him for advice and he was like, Nicole, like,
hey.
Nicole that I know, Nicole. And he was like, okay. And he was like, and he was like, how is it going? And he's like, oh, we're talking, or, he's like, I feel like we're vibing, da, da, da. he was like, I don't know. Cause he just was like, she like doesn't really like all these guys.
Wow.
And so it was very shocking when he found that we were together. He was like, there's no way.
Yeah.
Like, what did he say to you?
Oh my God.
So, yeah. And then, you know, once we got into the relationship and the way that things were moving and different confirmations that,
Yeah.
you know, I got from people, I felt a peace in my heart. That's how I knew he was the one. Like, it wasn't a loud voice. Like, again, the Lord doesn't speak to me very dramatically. Also, because I'm a very anxious person.
Yeah.
So I feel like he knows that, and he's not trying to startle me.
Yeah.
Like, you know how people will say, like, I want the Lord to come, you know, speak to me. I don't
want that. Yeah.
Like, I would be terrified.
Oh my God.
So I like the softness of the Lord. I like
Okay.
the still small voice. And I felt a peace like I've never felt before. Like,
Wow.
and things were moving and they were easy. And I felt like I could be myself. Like, that was
Okay.
the key. Like, I was not hiding a part of me.
Yeah.
I laugh really loud. I'm a very rambunctious person. And
Yeah.
it didn't bother him. He, you know, he was just okay with it. And I felt like, okay, this is my place.
Yeah.
So that's how I knew.
How long were y'all together before y'all got married?
A year?
Wow.
A
Okay.
year? It didn't take long.
Yeah.
It didn't take
When
long.
he knows, he knows.
Yeah, I feel like when he knows, he knows. 'Cause
Yeah.
If he doesn't know, then
Leave
step
him
away.
alone. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he needs to know. I think because they lead, they need to know. That's
Yeah.
the key. If he doesn't know, then he doesn't. Let him sit down and figure it out.
Yeah.
So it wasn't very long. It was very quick. But like I said, there was a peace. Even when things were not perfect and things were going wrong, I felt a peace like in my heart, and I knew I was doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So
I love that. That's amazing. So a lot of people have different opinions about being in ministry with their spouses. So are you you're obviously in a worship group called Winners. So how is that working with your husband now? Because you guys were together before.
it's different. I'll say this, because we're in the band, right? We're together, like singing together before we got together.
Yeah.
So the transition was interesting, but I'm so glad I had like mentors who work in ministry with their spouses to kind of guide me. For example, if he's in charge, right? So if he comes up with like some new plan or we're doing this, and like as a band member, I don't necessarily agree, right? So I'm still able to speak my mind and be like, I don't really agree as a band member. So I think we are able to separate the two. Like when we're doing music and it's like the artsy part of us, then we're focusing on that. But at home, it's different, right? Obviously, there's still that respect, like that kind of like transitions through the different roles. But I think really just having mentors and people telling me like, hey, yes, you do ministry together. You still have to respect him as your husband. But I never feel like, oh, I can't say this or I can't disagree with this because he's my husband. No, I still would be like, I don't like that. Or the whole group, we don't like that. So he's very understanding, and he's not, and he knows as well. So that like, okay, this, when she's speaking and saying this, it's like the artistic side of her. And this is my wife. And he trusts me to kind of navigate between the two. So we work well together. We're friends first. I think that's what's helpful, because then I'm able to be honest and be frank, and I'm not like hiding things or feeling uncomfortable about certain things. So it's been easy for us, but I think knowing those boundaries. I remember one time when we first got married, my husband's very hard on me, like when it comes artistic, because I don't push myself in music. I'm very comfortable where I'm at. So he'll be like, no, I think you can sing this song. And I just was like, I don't really feel like it. And one time he was like so hard on me during a rehearsal, and I was like almost to tears. And he kept being like, you're not singing it right. You need to redo it and things like that. And when we got home and I was like, you were so hard on me. He was like, because you're my wife and I want you to sound great. I don't just want you to sound good. So I'm going to be hard on you during rehearsal. That's the artistic part of me. That's not your husband. That's like the music director telling you that you can do it. So I had to really understand like the difference. The difference. But honestly, we've been married 12 years now. It's been going great.
Yeah.
So it's good. You just have to know the difference between the two.
I like that. So what advice would you give to a young unmarried woman that aspires towards marriage, the choice, and what you need to pray for?
Okay, so advice I would give was you need to know yourself. know what you want, what kind of future, what kind of life you want to have. I think once you know yourself, know what kind of future, what kind of life you want to live, what are your ambitions, what is God calling you to? Those are key. Because then with that information, you'll make a good choice. Because I feel like a lot of women, they don't know what they want, or they know what they want, but they ignore it because they are putting so much emphasis on the man. God calls each and every single person individually. Right. And then we come in as a couple and we make a team, and God calls us for like a global call as a couple. But individually, there's things that God puts in you, and the man that you accept, right, has to be able to see that in you, accept that in you, and push that. If you don't know what you want and what you have, you might choose a man, and then once you come in, you're like, oh, I want to become a president. They're like, oh, no, but I want a housewife. If you don't know what you want, it's difficult for you to make a good choice.
That's true.
I feel like a lot of women feel trapped because they never discovered who they are. And then they say yes or get married to a man who doesn't see them in the capacity that they see themselves. And then now they feel like someone's holding them back. So the key is to know yourself. You don't have to know yourself fully, but understand, what is God calling you to? What are your dreams and what kind of life you want to have? Because then when the man comes, you're able to scan and say, okay, will this man give me what I'm looking for? And if it's a no, then it's a no. So I think as young women, a lot of times we put the emphasis on the man. Oh, well, what does he do for a living? What do you want to do? It's okay to be a housewife if that's what you want. But if you don't want that and the man comes with that vision for his wife, then you'll always feel trapped. I never prayed for a spouse. I just never did. It sounds crazy, but I never prayed for a husband. I don't have a list. I didn't have any of that. So when I heard the scripture, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all of these things will be given to you. I literally told a lot, and I speak to God like a friend. I literally was like, hey, buddy, listen. I'm going to take care of you and what you're calling me to do. You better take care of me. If you don't, it's squabble. We are fighting. So, I meant that sincerely. And I served the Lord sincerely. Like I feel like I gave the Lord my youth. Like I started serving at a very young age. I'm like, don't you dare play me when it comes to this. And literally that was the prayer that I made years ago, like when I was like 15, 16 years old. And I focused on what the Lord was calling me to do. I focused on where the Lord was leading me. And I let, how can I say? I let the call of God and like what he impressed upon my heart lead me to my husband, if that makes sense.
It does.
Like I wasn't like, well, I'm just going to stay at home and the Lord will bring me. I was free, right? If somebody invited me somewhere, I would go. If there was something going on and I felt led to go, I would go. As long as it was within the boundaries of like, Christianhood, obviously. But I was never that like, I love Jesus and I will just be praying in my room all day. That's not going to help you. So I think the advice I can give is know yourself. Number 2, put yourself out there in a good way. Like go places, be open, because 9 times out of 10, whatever you think the man is going to look like, there's probably not going to look like that. So you have to be open enough and be willing to have conversation with people. Even if he looks crazy, he's wearing green pants and a yellow top. If they're going to talk to you, talk. Because I think men look at women physically and they can be like, okay, Sarah is my type. As women, we more are looking for what's in their head. How do they think? That kind of a thing. It's hard to see that when you don't talk to a person. It's hard to hear that. So I feel like as Christian women, be open, talk to people. Oh, he doesn't seem like my type. You never know until they open their mouth. So know yourself. Number 2, be willing to go out there and, mingle and meet people. Number 3, give people a chance. When I say a chance, I don't mean like go on dates and spend all this guy's money and you're not interested. I mean like at least give him a conversation. If someone comes up to you, is asking for your number, all right, here you go. Give me a call. They call you, talk to them. First conversation, saying, start ignoring them, back up. But you would be surprised. So give people your ear, at least listen, and then see where it goes. You never know.
How do you think about dating multiple people?
Dating is dating. I think the way that, and I'll say this, and I say this all the time, people that know me can hear me. our culture has trained women
Yes.
to just sit there and wait, accept
about
whatever,
it. Yep.
right? Mm-hmm. The men will talk to, it will be like, oh, j'observe.
Yeah,
they're talking to this girl,
Yeah.
because they are really trained to pick the best.
Yeah.
That's how men are trained, and they know that. So if I think Sarah's beautiful, I think this girl's beautiful, I think this girl's beautiful, talk to this girl, and see, and kind of size you up.
Yeah.
But as women, I feel like we don't do that enough, and that's why we
Yeah.
end up in the wrong place at the wrong time. If Bobby is saying hello and Jimmy's saying hello, I'm saying hello to Bobby and Jimmy.
Yeah.
And seeing who matches what I'm looking for in a husband as well, and what I'm willing to accept. I don't disagree. I don't think you should have 5 boyfriends, but I also think, like, as far as the talking stage is concerned, you can talk to several people.
Yeah.
Because you need to make sure you're picking the best. I don't think if you are going in a dealership, you're not going to drive one car and be like, all right.
Right. This is it. Yeah.
No, you're going to, okay, I'll do this. Okay, what works best? Within the confines of, obviously, like, being Christian and purity.
Right.
But conversation, listen. Talk to as many people as you need to.
Yeah.
So that you're able to sift through.
Yeah.
Because that's the key to making a good choice. I feel like if you're just picking what's in front of you and being like, okay, I'm going to focus on this person only. By the time you're focusing on this person, maybe your husband was over there trying to talk to you, ignored him, and then he's gone.
Yeah.
So no, if within the season, there's a season for every woman that the men are coming without you trying.
Yes.
When it's that season, you better sift through, like talk to whoever's coming, see what works out. So no, I don't disagree on, I guess you would call it dating or courting or whatever you talking to, whatever you want to call it. Several people, because the men do it. So I feel like if they do it, why can't we do it?
Yes,
there's nothing wrong with it.
Absolutely. I love
do
that.
it.
So just like you said, you didn't necessarily pray for a spouse, but what exactly should you be praying for yourself before entering into marriage?
I think you need to pray. Number one, I think you just have to practice. The way that I think of it is like you need to practice having a good relationship with God and knowing how the Lord speaks to you. Yeah. Because I feel like that's the key to picking, or I guess I would say accepting. I don't know. As women, we are accepting the proposal. A good spouse. Be close to the Lord, like be in the same frequency as the Holy Spirit. Because when that time comes, only the Lord can like impress upon your heart that that's the right person. Right. So don't wait till like, oh, now I'm 22, I'm 23, I'm 25. Let me start praying for spouse. Yeah. Cultivate that relationship with the Holy Spirit. Right. Know how the Lord speaks to you. Be close to the Lord. Because when the time comes, and when the people start coming, when the proposals start coming, when the guys start asking you on a date, the Lord is able, you already have that relationship and he already talks to you. So the key is to really build a strong relationship with the Lord. That's number one. Number two, preparation. Prepare yourself. I think I always say to people, be the person you want the other person to be. Yeah. Sometimes we're always looking like, what does he have? What does he bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? Right. What do you have? Because I think times have changed. Men are not only just looking for a pretty girl to put next to them. They also want to know, hey, can she think? Can she contribute? Even if you're going to be a stay-at-home wife, that's fine. Are you able to raise children? Will you educate your kids well? Will you contribute to my business ideas? Like, what are you bringing to the table? So prepare yourself as a person. If you need to go to school, go to school. If you need to learn a trade, learn a trade. Whatever it is that you need to do to be the best version of you, do that. Don't wait around for a man to give you value. Yeah. I hate when I see people in our culture say, oh, alungulinga soni, things like that. It's like, what are you ashamed of? Like, be proud of who you are. Prepare yourself to be the best version of you. Because I think once you do that, when that spouse comes, and if he was doing the same thing, you're only going to be great together. Yeah. So the prayer, I don't have a secret prayer. I think the key is to have a relationship with God. Yeah. So that you're able to hear him and he's able to guide and lead you to making the right decision.
I love that. That was beautiful. Wow. So now on to the music aspect of it. Do the winners have any special projects coming up this year, and what should we be anticipating?
Yes, lots of good things happening. So my husband actually today on this day, he released his album in November. He released a single, and he is gonna like kind of be trickling out different songs. So he has a song that came out today called Nazolukayo, which means I'm seeking you. So it's a really beautiful song. I love it. And then we have another member of our group. His name is Brother Veron. He's releasing his debut album that we're very excited about. So it's called Faveur Immérité. So in unmerited favor. So that's coming up as well. And then we have a couple other members that are releasing some singles this year as well. Not including myself, but so we have a lot of things happening. I'm super excited. I think I love the dynamic of our group because even though we are a group, we know that people have their own separate visions. And when somebody has I feel in my heart, the Lord wants me to release something or do something, we get behind them and we support them, and we're able to, serve together, but we can also serve separately if needed. So yeah, lots of good things coming this year.
I'm excited. That's amazing. And now lastly, for you, what does it mean to be chosen for greatness?
To be chosen for greatness, when I think chosen, I feel like when someone or something is picked apart, right? To be chosen for greatness is to understand that you've been called for a purpose, you've been created for a purpose, whether it's to serve, whether it's to impact, whether it's to lead. To be chosen for greatness means that you are living every day on purpose. It's not, you know how sometimes people live and they are living just letting life, like I call it like letting life pass them by. They wake up and just work, and there's no purpose, there's no drive. There has to be purpose in what you're doing. You have to find that purpose. God created each and every single one of us for a reason, for a purpose. And in order for you to live in greatness, you need to know what that purpose is. And sometimes it means you're going to go through lots of crazy things, negative things even, just so that the Lord can prune you and bring you into that purpose. And we shouldn't shy away from that. Sometimes when we think greatness, we always think about the lights. We always think about the stage. We think about the beautiful moments. But sometimes greatness is built in the darkness, is built in negative situations, maybe abuse, things like that. Even those things can birth greatness. Yeah. So understanding the purpose and the reason why God has placed you on earth is very important in order for you to live in your greatness. Yep.
I love it. Well, you are amazing, and I hope that this isn't the last time that I see you on Chosen for Greatness. For sure.
Would be glad to come back.
Absolutely. I will be listing Miss Nicole's Instagram below, just in case if you guys were truly blessed and you guys want any type of inspiration or any questions that you guys have for her, I will be listing her Instagram below. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Chosen for Greatness. Again, I'm your host, Sarah B. And with that, we are saying goodbye.